Why is my bike not starting? What the I have no idea. So, still nothing. The bike doesn't work. I cannot start it, unfortunately. So I checked all the cables, the connections. I checked the fuel pumps. You can hear them if you put on ignition. You can even test if I unplug the tube, and I just put a screwdriver in. I have pressure on the tube, so the fuel pump is working. The spark plugs look fine. So we have a spark, we have fuel, and we have air. It should run. It does run, I think, but it doesn't start. So there are a few options why it wouldn't start. And I think it will be most likely that the valve clearance is wrong, because I had it in the workshop in Kayseri, and because I don't have the tools, I don't carry the tools to check the valve clearance, and it should be checked at 10,000 and at 20,000, and now it has 15,000. So I was like, okay, let's do it there, and I think that was a mistake. I might be wrong, but I don't know. It doesn't work since I got the bike from the workshop. So the first time I got it from the workshop, I started it and I was like, it's starting very bad. But back then I thought, okay, it's cold, the bike stood a long time. By the way, I also tried to start it with a booster because the bike was not running for 30 days. So it's like, okay, maybe the battery is making some trouble, but even with a booster it's not working. So it even has 2 spark plugs, so it should work. Okay, if you start the bike, it usually starts with 2 spark plugs, and as soon as it's running it only uses 1, but both of them looked completely fine. So I don't think that this is a reason or enough reason for the bike not to start. Yeah, it could be worse. I have a wonderful hotel. That is not a big deal. I can stay here, it's not a problem. But on the other hand, we're here pretty much in the mountains. So the next bigger town, which is Sivas, is 2.5 hours away by car. So there is not a big infrastructure here. I don't have a towing company, I don't have a rental car company. And right now I'm really struggling to find some way to get the bike out of here. I had no idea that it can be so difficult to transport a bike. The cheapest price offer I had now is a rental car company, and I was like, okay, they were like, the transporter is $200 per day. But then I have the problem, how do I get from Sivas back to the border? I have no idea. I couldn't find any public transport in this area. So this is one thing I have to find out. Yeah, the other option, I was like, okay, instead of paying you $200 per day, I would pay you $600 plus fuel if you give me a driver. And he's just bringing me there and drops me off and then goes back. But they were like, you have to pay $1,000. I was like, oh man, $1,000 is a lot of money. I think 860 euros. I'm still looking for other options. I hope I can find a cheaper option. So it's a lot of like sitting on my phone and looking for rental companies and just sending them messages, or tow truck companies and sending them messages and waiting for an answer. So this is what I'm doing like for 1.5 days now. I'm like, what should I do? So now my bike gets to be transported. Even after days of troubleshooting and talking to other experienced riders, I still couldn't find a solution. I was still in Divry, right in the middle of the mountains, and going back to Kayseri was not an option anymore. To be honest, I had lost trust in the workshop, so I decided to have the bike transported via Trabzon to the border with Georgia. That might sound a bit strange at first, but there was a reason for it. As long as my motorcycle remained in Türkiye, the 90-day stay limit continued to run, and by that point I was already getting close to the end of my visa-free stay. I also had no idea how long the repair would take. On top of that, prices in Georgia are significantly lower, not only for accommodation but also for spare parts and repairs. So this is actually the funniest border crossing ever. I'm pushing my bike over the border. Yeah, still not running. I have my workshop on the other side. I'm now waiting for getting into Georgia because I already got sent out of Turkey. But there are lots of trucks. So, good morning from Georgia. I am in Georgia. After I pushed my bike over the border, it was super easy to cross that border. They basically didn't check anything on the bike. I bought my insurance right here. You see, there are several insurance offices, and you can just buy the insurance. It costs 15 euros. I tried yesterday actually to start the bike again. It doesn't work, still doesn't work. Would be a bit strange if it does now, but I tested it anyway because it's warmer here. But yeah, now I wait basically for another transport because I actually camped here. I had my tent right here, which was super loud because of all the trucks that are standing here to cross the border. And yeah, everything is open here 24 hours, so I had almost no sleep, but today I saw the beach, which is very beautiful. So now I sit here in the sun and I wait. Well, at least I could buy some breakfast. And there was a toilet at the border crossing, but you had to pay for it. And I think it's quite funny if you look at how the toilet looks. Eventually my bike made it to the workshop and I took the taxi to get to my hotel. So I'm in a hotel room in Georgia, in Batumi, and it's crazy actually how cheap that room is. I left the motorbike in the workshop, they check it. This room here, look at this. Yeah, it's a really nice hotel room, even with a small kitchen and a bathroom. And the crazy part is actually the view and the balcony. I did my laundry, so I put this here. Look at this, hey. This is crazy. And there you see the Black Sea. This hotel room costs 10 euro. And now I will go out and look for dinner. The tower is 130 meters high and you have all the 33 letters of the alphabet around the tower. So as long as my motorbike is in the workshop, I thought I will check out Batumi a little bit. I was in the city and now I'm in the botanical garden of Batumi. And this garden was actually started in 1912. And the founder of the garden was this guy here. He's from Russia, Andrei Krasnov, and he's buried in this garden. So being buried here in the Batumi Botanical Garden was actually his last will. Krasnov was professor at the Kharkov University, botanist and geographer. He visited Batumi for the first time in 1893 and decided that the soil and climatic conditions of Batumi were the most favorable for the growth and development of subtropical and subtropical plants. In 1912, Krasnov was appointed director of the botanical garden. In 1914, he died. To give you an update on my motorbike. It was now here in the workshop for a few days and they checked everything and actually said everything is alright, which is kind of crazy because I couldn't start the bike at all, no chance. I tried it at least like 30 times, but it didn't start. Yeah, they put it back together, and to check if it works in cold temperatures, they even put the bike in a huge fridge. So I will show you a little video they took.
Так, закатили мотоцикл. Минус 17 градусов. Здесь пока что 13 градусов. Ждем, когда будет минус, чтобы проверить этот мотоцикл. Сейчас, вот тут встань, вот с этой стороны.
Ага.
0. Запускаем.
О!
Yeah, it turns out the bike starts. We didn't use any parts. It was just taken apart and put back together. What they did was getting rid of the fuel and putting in some premium fuel. So the only thing that could be wrong with the bike is actually the fuel, which is a little bit devastating because I cannot change the quality of the fuel I get here. So I really hope that the bike will start from now on and there is nothing wrong, but yeah, we will see. It was a lot of chaos in this episode, a lot of back and forth, a very random border crossing, and now I hope the bike is running. Yeah, that was not what I planned, but tomorrow we will continue our journey and hopefully this time everything works out. So I hope you liked the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe down below, and see you for the next video.